put a small wire mesh inside the bucket.
Okay.
And in that way, the particles will be filtered outside and only the water will be oozing inside. But when this is like when you put a tap on the 5-gallon container. But if you have uh, uh, then another method is you take the 5-gallon bucket, you drill holes at the bottom of it, and then you keep another bucket at the underneath it to collect water. Mostly, even in that one, you don't get anything clogged because there are so many holes you will make it, so you can collect the water.
Yeah, that's what
So it's
Saraswati
not.
was recommending, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
she
yeah.
was doing.
But only thing I feel in that one is see, when we say if it is a 5-gallon, whatever the weight that I mean it's a container that can hold 5-gallon, but then that is a very heavy one. Like after 1 or 2 days, when we will be start piling up so many things in it, it's very hard for me to lift the bucket.
Right.
So then we thought
That would be
probably
the same case for me too.
yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I have a very bad bag. I never try to. I mean, the highest thing that I can lift is my milk gallon. That's about it. I won't lift more than that. So for me, it is very useful. And in the markets, even in Amazon, you can find stuff similar to this Bokashi bucket with the tap. It's a very fancy one.
That's good. Okay. With
It's
the
a very
wire,
fancy
they
one.
come with the wire mesh which you were saying. No, we have to
No,
add.
no, 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 no. They don't come with the wire mesh.
We
You have
add
to
it.
build it.
Okay.
You have to build it. But then that one was very expensive. It was like close to 65 to $85.
Okay.
Then we thought probably, again, this is the first time we are doing this Bokashi. We really don't want to spend too much money and then feel it later at the end. So we thought probably we will stick with this 5-gallon buckets and see how it is going. But it worked out so well for all of us. The main issue here we have is this, Shanti, gophers and rats.
Yeah, you were saying. Yeah. We have that
Yeah.
too. I think we have roof rats over here and mouse and mice and all of those things.
The
I
thing
Yeah.
is,
haven't done any composting as such, but this seems to be a very effective method. Like you said, you can use any food material,
Yeah.
and you can also compost the same waste, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
yeah,
do
the
any
other thing
material.
is, yeah,
But
Yeah.
the other thing is you need minimum two sets of buckets, right? Like
Right.
to keep it
Yeah.
continuously going. Yeah.
Recycle.
So that way, if you are going to buy a Bokashi bucket, it's going to cost you like $140, right? Like two sets of buckets,
Right.
which is very expensive and fancy stuff, right?
Exactly.
If you are
Yeah.
going
yeah,
to keep it in your kitchen, then yes, I would say like okay, have a fancy bucket, keep it
No,
simple.
we are all wanting effective methods here.
effective
Yeah.
methods. Shanti, the
Yeah.
other thing is that like even that bucket that they are mentioning, even back in India, they have even some of us, we thought probably we will buy from India too. Again, same thing. We thought probably this is an easy method. Let's just stick out with this method.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I had one more
So
question, Sri. Do you ever store your milk jar with the tea in it in the fridge, especially when you transition to winter?
Yeah.
You do not want to water your plants every day, right? So
Uh,
can you keep it
okay.
stored in the fridge?
No,
Effective?
to be honest with you, we started this in the March.
Okay.
So I have to tell you the results after this winter. This is going to be our first winter doing it.
Shanti, for Sri, winter is not really
I
winter.
know,
Yeah.
California, right?
So,
Yeah. For
so
me,
for
it is not.
us,
For
yeah,
us,
for us,
yeah,
what will happen is like the microbial activity itself will reduce, right?
right.
Like what you get, the amount of compost tea you get may not be the same when you are doing it during winter, right? The entire thing will slow down.
It's like making yogurt in winter.
Correct. Yeah,
Basically it's the same fermentation process,
that's correct.
Yeah.
lactobacillus, right? So
Yeah.
So
And
what
okay,
happens
another.
thank
is,
you.
Sri, right? Like when you are talking about the weight of the container,
Huh.
I when you dumped your, I could see full size fruits available on your bucket. I
Yeah.
nor-
I never
I
cut them,
normally
Maribel.
yeah, I normally chop it fine
Oh,
so
you
that
chop them.
it gives a more surface area.
Uh-huh.
Also, my when I chop it, I can dump about 10 times more than what you do when you're doing it
Ah.
So if I have a cucumber, I just run it through my food processor and cut it into thin layers.
Okay.
Right. So that gives me my bokashi bucket will be 10 times heavier than a normal
Yes,
bokashi.
yes, yes. See,
And
another thing is,
it increases a lot of surface area, which is good for this
yeah,
process, which is a
yeah.
good
And
thing to do.
another
Yeah.
thing with this bokashi, I really don't want, when it gets heavy, I mean, out of love of gardening, you will just carry that entire weight, and then that effect will be seen the next day.
That is true. Yeah.
So for me, if we have like some senior citizens who really wanted to do kitchen gardening. So normally what I would say, don't open up your trench by yourself, and then go with 3-gallon boxes instead of 5-gallon. Go with the shorter ones. So it would be, I mean, like the quantity will be less. And even when they wanted to carry it from their kitchen to their front yard or to their backyard, it will be much easier. And here, normally, we even have own gardeners coming and tending our gardens. But if, for example, if you wanted to open up a trench, you can call them on service basis. You say like, I need one trench. Can you please come and open it today? They will come and do it.
The lawn mowers are people who
Yeah,
supply.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They will come and help you out in that. But then again, you have to carry it all the way from the kitchen. Okay, so when just because we are talking about this bokashi again, I will also cover something which I am in the process of doing it. Say for example, if you are starting up a new soil, you are getting a brand new garden, you're setting up a brand new garden bed or garden soil. Uh, what I am doing is, I have experimented it, and for me, it is very successful. The bokashi grain that the bokashi grain that we are getting, take that bokashi grain, mix it with, say for example, if I am taking like a 1 cup of bokashi grain, I take at least half lbs of sugar, brown sugar, mixed with water, regular tap water, mix it together, and I will put it in the dark place for 7 to 8 days. But only thing is, every day morning, I try to open it, the lid, and then close it back. So in that way, I would allow some parts of air in it. And I take this bokashi. This is like the pure one. Only, I mean, what I am trying to do is I am getting this microbes and I am feeding some sugar to this microbes so that this microbes will be happy. And when I dump this, the same ratio, 1:100. So I take this 1:100 water and give it to new bed. If I'm making up any new bed, I would just give this water. I would just sprinkle this water eventually, because normally if I make a garden bed, I would at least wait 3 to 4 days for the soil to settle down. So whenever the soil is settling down, I take this bokashi water. So one part of this bokashi, the pure bokashi, the EM2 grain water, I will mix it with 100 parts of water and I will sprinkle it on my garden bed. In that way, I won't be getting much of the microbes, but then some level of microbe activity will be happening in that process. So again, this is most of the people are trying to do it. Say, for example, I really don't want to do with this kitchen waste. I don't want the smell. I don't want any of this thing happening. Compared to the regular kitchen bokashi thing, this just the EM2 and this brown sugar combination, the smell, you won't even smell anything. So that's another part.
This is non-composting method. Without
Non-composting
composting.
method. Exactly. Non-composting method. You take it and then you just sprinkle just like the water. There are some people, River, they try to use this bokashi to their house plants also. So when you do it in the kitchen based thingy, when you do it for the house plants, it is very hard because the smell for some people, if they are very sensitive to this. And again, this bokashi, to equate the smell, I would say it is similar to vinegar. Some really don't like the smell of the vinegar. So if
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
a
like the
strong
smell of,
vinegar. When I have opened and tried to dump, I could see that it was hitting my brain, right? Like
yeah,
it's very strong, and
it is
you can
very
even.
strong. It is very strong. So people now, if they have indoor house plants, I always recommend them to use just a grain with the brown sugar. Give that water like after 7 days. in that way, you won't get even a I mean, it's like you are giving plain water to the house plants. So I always recommend that process for the house plants.
I'm sorry, do you attract ants over there because it's brown sugar, which is basically molasses?
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
No? No
no,
ants or no
because
insects? Okay.
everything within 7 days, Shanti, every of this sugar will be eaten up by this Bokashi microbes.
Okay. I
So
get it.
no
It's
ants.
basically a lactobacteria, right? Like
Right.
Yeah,
that is
Lactobacillus.
available. Yeah.
People
yeah.
sometimes try yeast, just yeast with sugar. That's how alcohol is made, like wine and all that. So they try
Mm-mm.
that. So maybe it's very similar to that. Okay, but
Yeah.
7 days should take care of that fermentation.
Yeah, 7 days would take care. But again, Shanti, I've always everything I keep it in a dark place.
Thank you.
Just that because the people who advised me to start this bokashi, they all were doing it in a dark place, like store this in a dark place, so it will be easy for them. When it gets to sunlight, the process will be disturbed. I don't know, but I'm just following that rule.
Yeah, that's true
Blindly.
because wine is made like that, in the
Okay,
barrels and all that. Yeah, it's true.
so it is not
Yeah,
sun, so the sun exposure is not good.
yeah.
But then I have a friend here. He from the starting, she has kept all her bokashi buckets outside. Even after the storing of your kitchen, after the completed bokashi bucket, if you keep it inside, same thing, she keep it outside. But only thing is that she has a big lawn cover, she would just close it. That's about it,
Okay.
to prevent sunlight to getting inside that bucket. That is the only thing she is doing. But again, one day she called me when she was collecting this bokashi tea. So I went in there. I didn't feel any different smell with it. Another word of caution: when using this bokashi, I always recommend people to do the sandwich method. So first is you take 1 tablespoon of it. Please be generous with that process. So take 1 tablespoon of it, add it, put the kitchen waste, and then add another 1 tablespoon on top of it. Because one of the friends, she thought when I was giving her measurements for 1 tablespoon, she thought it was 1 teaspoon. And but that 1 teaspoon didn't help her that much to get the bokashi starting. It was her first time. So there was a foul smell, and people don't like the foul smell when they start the bokashi. But if you use it like 1 tablespoon kitchen waste and then another 1 tablespoon on top of it, it really helps. There is no foul smell at all.
The good rule
And
is next day after 1 day, right? Like when you start the
yeah,
first day, when you open it up, you should see the white layer of
layer.
microbes. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you don't
And
see it, then it's not working.
yeah, and then again another thing, like when you put after a bucket is being filled, you store this bucket, right? Like you store it inside a dark place for 2 weeks. At that time, make sure at least 2 days once you have to dump the bokashi tea out of that bucket.
Yeah, that will be very slow, right? Like at that
Yeah,
time,
very,
the
very slow,
Bokashi tea
Arivu. But
will
again, that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I said. Instead of doing it every single day, just do it like twice. I mean, 2 days once you have to take it out, because it will have the starting of this video, I was showing you guys a white layer. So that white layer proves that the bokashi process is going in a good way. But you have to dump it because sometimes because of the weather,
Now,
when you
what I
store it.
meant was, Sri, right? Like when you are filling up the bucket, you will
Ah,
see more volume of Bokashi tea, right?
yeah,
Once the fermentation starts, right, like
yeah.
that volume will completely reduce, maybe to 1/10 of what you normally get.
Yeah,
So,
you will get, even though Ariva, you, even if you get a very less amount, I recommend people to take it
yeah,
out,
yeah, that is true. That is correct.
because
Right,
it's
right.
smell. Sometimes people can't take it. Like if you go in the garage, I can tell. Sometimes I will assign that job to my husband or my son to take it out. But for some reasons, if they forget doing it, I can smell it right away.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the
So what
thing
I
with
have
the.
seen is right, like when during that 2 weeks, you can
Mm.
clearly see the amount is completely reducing, right? Like when
Yeah,
it
yeah,
on the 14th day, you will see very little of
very little, like
yeah,
droplets of water.
correct, which means that the bokashi is really working. That pickling process
Exactly,
is working,
the process
and
is very.
yeah. So at the end of the 2 weeks, right, like of closing the bucket, does not mean that everything, when you open it after the 14th day, it is going to be completely composted, right?
No.
You will really see the fruits or veggie or whatever you put it. And then when you dump it in this process too, only then the composting happens.
The composting, actual composting starts only after when you dump it. What you're doing is just fermenting this every of this kitchen scrap, so it will be easy for the microbes to eat it. So that is the only thing. Some people assume that completely it will be gone. It won't be gone. Like only after you open up a trench and dump everything inside, that's when the actual bokashi is happening. What actually we are doing is we are just fermenting the kitchen waste. So that's the only thing that we are doing. And another thing that we have done, like just for experimenting, like you got something, you really wanted to experiment it to your extent. Normally I have a big avarakai, chikudukai, so it's a very big one. Usually in February's, what I would do, I would trim those trees or any other trees, any leaves that I get it. I open up a trench. I open up a trench. First thing in the layer, sometimes if I have kitchen scrap, this bokashi thing, I will add it. If not, I would just add this brown leaves. And then I would sprinkle one handful of this bokashi grain and close it. But I cannot reveal the results until now because I have done it like probably the starting of August. So I really have to wait for 4 days to 4 more weeks to know like how it is being happening. So that is also another way. So if you have like anything extra, you can also add it.
But then how many weeks do you need to wait for it?
That's what Sanjini I'm saying. I just did it in August. I really don't know the results yet.
So you're going to wait for another 4 weeks to see it, right?
Maybe this week or next week.
Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Yeah. But I
She has
highly
not
recommend.
gone through the anaerobic process here.
Exactly,
right?
Ariba.
She's directly going to aerobic process.
Yeah,
so that is
aerobic
going to be a
process.
different,
Yeah. So that's when I said like I have waited 4 weeks. I have to. I will be doing it, but then I will let you guys know the result. But I highly recommend this bokashi, and everybody. I really wanted to follow this process, and it's a very easy way, effective way of composting your kitchen waste. Whatever I have this belief, whatever you get from the soil, you have to give it back to the soil. Only then soil will feel happy. Only the meantime what we are doing is we are just borrowing whatever the soil is giving to us. So when we borrow stuffs, we should return back. That's a good thing. So please start doing this bokashi. It sounds like every day you're collecting all these vegetables and everything. It's very first initially to get into the routine, it's very hard, but end of the day, if you dump everything inside and clean out the containers, you won't even smell anything inside your kitchen. People are so afraid my kitchen is going to smell bad, because you dump every single day of all of your kitchen waste. So in that way, you know that you won't be storing any kitchen waste. And some people have done this. One of my friend, what she did, she really don't want to keep this kitchen waste container outside. Subhatra Arivu, she's in
Okay,
the garden group.
Mm-hmm.
You know what she did? Just her husband doesn't like the Bokashi composting way. She thought probably to get rid of the smell, she put the entire content inside a big container and stored inside the regular fridge. So in the morning, if she does the cooking, she get all the vegetable peels, put it inside the container, and she will keep them inside the fridge. End of the night, she will take it out from the fridge and go and dump it into the bokashi bin. So in that way, she
Or
thinks
we
that
can even go with activated carbon filter, right? Like there are containers, right? Like for $20, you have that coffee container where you can dump it and keep it, right? Like I normally keep it, right? Like within 8 hours, nothing is going to get spoiled. Right?
Within 8 hours. No, some really don't like the kitchen appealing won't be really nice. Like when you have this dumping bucket on top of your counter. So they really don't like it. If they want the house to be, the kitchen to be kitchen eye appealing, then people are storing it in the fridge, and she has no issue in storing it. It's okay. It's end of the day, again she is dumping it in the bokashi again.
Right.
Is it
Anyway,
effective for her?
you are
I'm sorry. Is it effective for her? Because you need about 37 degrees. You need warm temperature for fermentation. Is it effective if she
Shanti,
keeps it in the night?
she will no, she will keep it only in the morning, from the morning till the night. So by the
Okay.
night time she will dump it again inside the kitchen waste,
Which is sitting on the counter or in the garage?
The fridge.
no, Shanti, the collection of the waste material, right? Like the food waste.
Okay, so she doesn't want it to be placed out in the kitchen. She keeps
And the
it in the
kitchen,
fridge.
right? Like, so she
yeah.
keeps
Okay.
that inside the fridge, right? Like,
Okay.
so anyway, if you cut a carrot or a cabbage, the cabbage was sitting in, right? Like the refuse was is getting thrown away. So she's still keeping that until she dumps. She keeps it in the fridge.
Okay.
That's it.
Sri, I have a question for you.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Sachin.
Yeah, usually people say that you soak the banana peel for 3 days in water and put it for your malli chedi and all, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're doing this, then you don't have to do that. Is that right?
See, Sajani, I am normally I really don't want to extend my my skill. I mean, like my energy into all collecting all this banana peels and all this onion peels. For me, bokashi is like one bucket. I dump everything.
Okay.
Unless otherwise,
So
if
those
I
two
want
are
to,
totally different, Sajani, right? Like
I know, but
the
I'm just thinking, like, if you're going to do the vegetable bin, so will you still be doing that, Arivu? Because I'm new to this. That's why I'm asking you all this.
I am
so
not
the
doing it. I'm not doing it because I'm dumping everything inside this bokashi thingy.
Okay.
So I know I'm getting really effective microbes. And that is the only thing that is going to supply enough nutrition to my plant. So if I fix the soil, my soil will give very good nutrition to my plant, and my plant will does its job in a good way. But I have seen people taking out this onion peel and taking out this banana peel, mixing it with water. Yeah. I have
they
seen.
serve two different purposes, right? Like the banana peel gives you is high in potassium, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so it's going to give you more potassium for the inducement of the buds, right? Like for the flowers, right? Like this will be like maybe a balanced fertilizer, or depends on what you have in the container. So if you have a focused need for inducing flowers, or to for the bugs to also get rid of some of the bugs which keeps sitting on the flower buds or the flower plant, then you spray with the banana peel water or onion peel water. Onion peel is also high in potassium.
High
Okay.
in potassium.
That is
But
the purpose.
Arivu, the reason probably I was not so keen in about adding, collecting this onion peel and collecting this banana peel is, I make this, in Tamil we call it muttarasam. Muttarasam means you take egg, immerse them completely in lemon water, keep it for 25 days, and then you crush them, and then keep it for another 15 days and give it to your plants that are not flowering. So
Oh.
it has high in content. So probably that's the reason I think probably I'm not leaning more towards that thing. So I like that method. So I just wanted to keep it in that way.
Shri, if you don't mind, can you explain that method again? That egg muttarasam?
Oh, that is so easy. Yeah. You take a plastic container, you take an egg, immerse that egg completely with lemon juice.
Okay.
Okay, and then make sure it is an airtight container, and then keep it for like 25 days.
Okay.
Take it out after the 25 days. By now some of the eggs would be crushed up. If not, you can take a small stick and crush it,
Okay.
and then keep it another and I would say another 15 days. You keep it outside, keep it, and then after, so basically 25 plus another 15. After that, what I normally I do is I would mix again a half cup of sugar to that muttarasam, and I will keep it either if I am keeping it outside, I will add sugar to it. If I am not keeping it outside, if I am and the storage time would be for this one would be 3 months. You can use this muttarasam for 3 months.
Okay.
2 ml to 1 liter of water. You take 2 ml of this mutaresum solution and add it to 1 liter of water. So that is how, especially I give this for my gourds, any of my gourds, like bitter gourd, lauki, avrakai, and bitter melon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is easy. So I'm thinking like the why I am not leaning more towards storing this banana peels and storing this onion peels is this one.
Okay.
So this
And
egg
again,
How bad?
this egg is full egg you put it?
yes, Ariva, you won't break this egg.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a raw egg you.
Yeah, I will show you. I will show you.
But it doesn't smell bad, Sri?
No,
Okay, good.
no, it won't smell bad.
Thank you.
I'll show you. There is a container. See?
Oh,
So this is an airtight container. But then again with this one, you have to keep one thing in mind. You can store it only for 3 months. So by the end of first month, I will start to make another batch.
So the acid in the lemon is extracting what from the egg?
the shell.
It will extracting the shell, the calcium from the shell, and then after 25 days, say for example, if you have a farm nearby, if it is one thing that we liked about is back in India we have this double yolk eggs.
Yeah.
Have you heard this, Ariva? Okay.
Yeah.
We visited Julian, and in Julian there was one farm, they were selling this double yolk egg. I have no clue about this, but my husband is from Namakkal, so he was really happy to see those eggs.
Oh, okay.
So we got it. So only one egg I added to this process. Normally the Costco eggs, the organics, the eggs I use it, I will take one egg. Based on the lemon juice, you get it. But make sure you immerse that entire egg with this lemon juice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's very effective, and for me I feel like it is much better. Like you take 2 to 5 ml, it's recommended. So you take 2 to 5 ml of this and mix it with 1 liter of water and give it to plants, so it will help in flowering. And then if for some reasons people say that the flowers keep on falling down,
Yes.
so even the blossom drop also, it's helping in that way. So I didn't lean towards this onion peel or this banana peel.
Okay.
For me, just because I've been doing it for a long time, I am sticking to this process.
Okay.
And again, I don't know, Ariva, the kitchen counters, if you see, there will be like so many items that I will be storing up. If I will be storing again this onion peel and banana peel, my husband will go crazy. What's wrong with you? Everywhere, if there is any containers, I would never, any airtight
No, you can do it
containers, I never
every
throw
day.
them.
You can. What I do is, whenever 3-4 peels are there, I just take it, cut it, and put it outside. Fill it with 1 gallon water, and it will ferment for 3 days. Right, like, and the third day it will be ready. I don't keep it for a long time inside.
Okay. So you do it in that way. But again, I'm saying,
if it's more and I cannot do that process, I just dump it in the Bokashi bucket.
Bokashi bucket, yeah. Okay,
Right,
so
that's.
Okay.
that's
So
I too have that problem at home, right? Like Sandra always keeps complaining.
I think we all have that issue.
yeah.
Yeah, we all gardeners love to experiment and do different things, but
Yeah.
not necessarily our spouses are going to go with it.
So first, when we started with this Bokashi, my husband was really worried about the smell, like how the smell is going to be, and I really don't want to get the smell. But then after that, when they didn't find any smell in this process, they were happy and always encouraging. Like sometimes I make sure that I want every of them to make kheer. And another thing I wanted to mention here is, say for example, the leftover food. Say I make a sambar, I keep it outside, and my sambar gets spoiled. Spoiled sambar, spoiled rasam, spoiled poriyal, spoiled sabji, anything you can dump inside that bokashi.
That's interesting to know. It's good to
You
know.
have to
Is there
make sure
anything
you
which you
remove the
cannot
liquid. Right?
dump? Is there anything which you cannot dump? Like, can you
No,
do like large bones, fish bones,
Anything you
they are
can.
doing fish. They're doing for they take the chicken bones. They are adding it. They have I have even added once the ribs, the
Okay.
the ribs from the beef. I have added that one too. No smell. So
The
please
one
try
thing we
it,
have to
guys.
look at is not to dump too much water into the bokashi bucket.
Yes.
Right. So
So that's another
I
thing.
thought you don't add water. You just do the food waste, right?
No, Shanti, for example, if I have a juice, if I have a spoiled juice,
Okay.
people have the tendency to dump that spoiled juice inside
Juice.
it, right?
Okay.
And if you make a smoothie and if the smoothie, you don't like the recipe of the smoothie, if the smoothie tastes really bad, then people will dump it.
So call it sobakshi then.
Yeah, it'll be more nutritious. Yeah. So this is an effective method, and please, I recommend everyone to do it, and it completes a cycle. You get from the soil, and you're giving back to the cycle.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to
soil
do
will.
your soil enrichment. So the recycling is really important.
Yeah, yeah. The amount of the waste, the regular waste that you dump would be very, very less when you start doing this bokashi. Any other questions, guys?
I'm not getting enough waste nowadays, Shri.
Oh, really?
Right? It's very hard to fill up a bucket in 2 weeks. It takes
No,
2 weeks
for
to.
me, see, starting of March and April, like I said last week to you, starting of March and April, for me, it took like almost 2 weeks for me to fill the entire bucket. But when the summer started to kick in, people are consuming fruits like anything in my home. I get all
Okay.
the peels, everything will goes into it. So one way I'm very happy. That's when I thought probably I have to go and buy another bucket, and I made sure. Now I have like 4 buckets.
Okay. I'm running 3 buckets.
Running
But
3 buckets. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So 4 buckets. So one will be always will be in the storage condition, like 2 weeks fermentation condition. Then the
Okay.
other 2 I will be dumping alternately, and then alternately in the sense that sometimes I use 1 bucket in the morning because lot of kitchen waste I'm
Wait.
collecting.
Okay.
So I'm doing that method. But again, it's very effective. Soil loves Bokashi composted vegetables. So please do it.
Plus house flies, bugs also love it. So if you leave a cup of bokashi, you can see all of them committing suicide.
That's another way of trapping all this. Especially for me, I had a very good luck in getting this Japanese beetle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big issue here, but like I cannot control it. Like I have to literally catch them. But then for me, this method is very easy. What I do, I take the starch water from the cooked rice. I add this bokashi tea and leave it outside in the garden. And all my Japanese beetle will love to drink that water. And for the next day morning, if you see that water, it will be completely with this Japanese beetle. So it's another way of killing them.
Control it. Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
great.
Do you
Bugs love.
recommend EM2 or you just tried with EM2, right? For Bokashi
I tried
grains?
with the EM2, Shanti. So EM2 is the one that we are getting from the store. And I really don't want to confuse you guys because I am making my own the lab, which we call it the lactobacillus. I'm making it one,
Right.
but then I cannot reveal I mean, it's in the process. I think Arivu is making the bond, right, Arivu?
Yeah. So
So
tomorrow
he
will
is
be
in the
my
process
14th
of
day.
making that bond.
I will know the result only tomorrow or day after.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, we
How
will
it
wait
came
for it.
out, right? Yeah.
So basically the grains that I showed you, Arivu is trying to make those grains by himself.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
See, to
One
It
start
is
is,
with,
one
right?
one hop stop is like plain no and done. You can get it from Aribu then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are getting all the jasmines and everything from him.
Yeah,
So
see,
great.
That will be very nice.
No, no, to start with, right? Like I also did the same thing. I also started this Bokashi recently, right? Like because of a reason that I have so many plants, and if you look at the cucumber beetle is very fond of all amaranth plants, right? Like all kirai, they will be having feasting on them, right? I have one plant, one drumstick plant from Savita, right? Like who is one of our members, and she has been doing bokashi for almost like for 6 7 years ago. And she, when she moved out of Plano, she gave me that plant, right? Like, and that drumstick plant had the amaranth plant also, right? These cucumber beetles don't go to that plant at all, right? Like they will always be fresh, right? But all my other plants will get impacted by these beetle, the cucumber beetle. So just I was wondering what is the difference. I know that she has been doing bokashi, she has been doing all those things, right? So that's when I thought like, okay. And fortunately she also gave me 2 full buckets of bokashi setup, right? Like so it's like 4 buckets with all the threadable lids and all those things. So I said like, okay, let me start. And that's when I bought this bokashi brown and started working on it, right? And so my first result on the composting itself will be available maybe in another week or two, right? I haven't done the trench because I did not have enough space in my garden to even walk around, right? Like, so I had a 35-gallon container where I've been dumping all my plant refuse, right? Like whenever I do the thinning and removing the vines, I have dumped them in my 35-gallon container. So that is almost like 3/4 full, and it was composting. So what I did was like I added some soil or compost to the existing compost to that over that, and then dumped this bucket and then fill it up with some more compost, right? Like, so I'm waiting for the results from that to see what is the impact of it. So far, I haven't seen any issue with the smell or any rats or anything bothering it. But I have to see how the results are coming out. But I will also know that the mix I have done, right? I know from where it started and where it ends. So I know that, okay, whether the compost has completely or the pickle has completely composted, how long it takes. Yeah, so.
Okay, Arivu, I have a question. When you're doing the compost in the bin, how often do you go and mix it?
See, it's very hard for us to do the traditional or conventional method, right? Like I have never done any rotation or mixing, right? Like it's very hard. Even with a rotating bin, I have this 35-gallon. I just keep dumping on it, and I occasionally I add some buttermilk or the bokashi or whatever is left over to activate the microbes.
Yeah.
But even with the bin which has a rotating capability, it's very hard to go and do that, right? Like I just leave
it's heavy, Sanjani.
Okay, no, because that was one of my questions last week I put in our discussion board, because I was looking for some compost bin or something. So since I didn't get any answer, that's why I'm asking you all these questions, okay?
No, there are 2 types of bins available, right? Like one is whatever she is talking about is a huge bin